riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. Here's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, Peter Boyle to my Gene Wilder, co-host extraordinaire, Timothy P. Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I am terrified and regretful, Garrett.
I like to hear both of those things, though I am very confused as to why.
Well, I mean, most people don't know this, you know this, but weight classes for local and mostly unregulated MMA events are upper weight limits, you see. So, for example, if you weigh more than 265 pounds, you cannot compete as a heavyweight, right? Everyone knows this. What most people don't know is that any amount less than that, including my co-host Garrett's approximately 180, 185 pounds, is still, you can still compete in that. Just most people don't, right? So you can, in fact, be signed up to compete in the heavyweight weight class as a 180-pound person. You don't even have to be there to sign up. You can send a representative to sign you up, sans notarization. My point here, Gare Bear, is that it seems really funny to sign up a good buddy just to watch him get destroyed. Now, what I failed to consider is what if you do this and he's fine? Yeah, this is the laughter of a man who was fine. And so to reiterate, I am terrified and regretful. Although that is fitting for the spooktacular, spooktathlon, spooktober, spookoween, spook season. So good.
Okay, well, couple of things. One,
you were so fine. Jesus.
Yeah, okay. That guy, and I don't want to be rude, so I'm going to choose my language very carefully, was a fat tub of shit.
Jesus. Okay, but what about the second and the third guys? I didn't even know they'd let you fight multiple people in one night.
Yeah, in a tournament style. They don't do it much anymore. Listen, in my time as a living human adult, I've been forced into situations that require me to defend myself. That was an amateur competition, and I don't think those people were smart to have entered it. All of that aside, though, Tim, the joy that pummeling those gentlemen and the general victory brought me has prolonged your, retribution?
Oh, good.
Until now.
Oh.
I don't know. You didn't understand the end of that sentence was coming. Yikes. You need to lay off the WD-40. Anyway, there will be severe consequences for you. What I can only kind of summarize as attempting to kill me. What was your goal there?
I thought it would be funny.
It was.
It was kind of funny. Pretty scary.
Listen, yeah, when I grabbed that guy by the bottom of his jaw and pulled him to the ground and screamed, "This could be you, Tim," that was pretty funny.
That wasn't the funny part. No.
Oh, I was laughing.
I know. Everyone saw you laughing.
Here's a fun fact. Sound carries like nobody's business through a gymnasium, despite how many people are in it if they are silent.
Yeah.
I've never heard my laugh sound better.
That's true. It was a great Joker-esque laugh.
Truth be told, I was going for more of a Fight Club.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the problem, though, is you were fine, and the guy laughing in Fight Club was very much not fine.
No, that's true. All right, well, physical assaults aside, Tim, what song have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to Avenged Sevenfold's Little Piece of Heaven, a non-single released on the almost spooky day of October 30th, 2007. And this song, or at least this band, was suggested by Mikey, Jennifer, Chris, Roy, Jonathan, somebody named Billy Zane, who I believe to be an imposter, although I do know for a fact that the real Billy Zane listens to this show. He just doesn't write in. Melanie, and also, most recently, I'm a truck driver, but I'm not like you on Twitter, who might be the aforementioned Chris or possibly an altogether different Chris.
Tough to say. A lot of you people really wanted this song, and
or at least this band.
I'll go as far as to say this song.
Okay.
You people are creeps.
Yes.
Real creeps. But
Each
it's fun.
Every one of you.
But you appreciate the show and especially the season, so I applaud you. I asked for it and you delivered. Avenged Sevenfold, A Little Piece of Heaven, is exactly what we needed to kick off the October Scaretacular Spooktathlon. And yes, I know we're a couple of weeks late, but fuck off. We're busy. Tim, after an entire week with the Sevenfold of Avenged, do you hate this song?
No, I don't.
That is is interesting.
I think it's possibly too ridiculous to hate. Maybe I just don't want to sound like a prude. That might be worse.
That can't be it. That better not be it.
Okay.
You can't be pro-necrophilia.
No, I did not say that. I just didn't want to cast judgment. No, you know what? I feel like you're trying to bait me into hating it. I don't hate it. I should say, though, for the love of God, the After Dark, trigger warning, mature content ahead, adult scenarios and stuff. This is not very sexy.
We're fucking corpses, people.
Yes. Well, not us. No. But
not us.
In the song.
The song.
In the song. Spoilers. Garrett.
What?
Do you hate this song?
Oh. No, I don't. I love it.
You are super into this song. I heard Garrett singing along to this on the train. People were not super into that, but
it was the dancing they didn't like.
Oh, sure. Yeah. When Garrett got a very specific degree, we won't say which one to not out him, but there is a competition where you can perform an interpretive dance of your of your degree. And Garrett did not win, but his was judged most graphic.
Mm-hmm. This is not a joke.
It was graphic. Yeah.
It was so graphic.
Anyway, the point is,
accurate.
Garrett is very good at expressing the lyrics of a song through dance, and he did that today. Well,
I hate when you compliment me, but you did a great job. I appreciate that.
Thank
it's
you.
Usually all the things I don't want you to say, but not this time. Nailed it. Thank you. Compliment accepted.
You're welcome.
Good stuff.
Okay. Thank you for complimenting me. This was a good compliment. Is that what we're...
Yeah, I think that's...
Okay.
Gino, write it on the board. Anyway, so yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's perfect for our show and the Scaretacular. It's a not very good song delivered in a style that makes absolutely no sense for a band that I thought was going to be completely different from what we got.
You know what? I think we're done.
Yeah, we might have just made the shortest episode ever. No way. I have notes. But before we get to those, Tim, I am curious. Prior to this week, what's your history with AS and their little piece of heaven?
None. Garrett, what about you, friend? What is your history with A7X?
Tell me that's their invention and not yours.
Their invention, yes.
Okay. I was going to say, if you created that, I have two problems. One, it's creation. And two, more importantly, if you're that good at marketing, what the fuck are you doing on our show? Because we are not.
Yes. Perhaps we need to get the guys A7X got.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, yikes. No, I've never heard of this. I'd heard of Avenged Sevenfold, but I just assumed it was...
Well, I think
so I
it
never
might
listened.
be.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
It's at least heavy metal.
Yes.
Which,
metal
quite
core
honestly...
by some estimates.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that. But that's not quite what we get here. More on that in a bit. Before we talk about the song itself here on the show, we'd like to understand a little bit about the people who made it. So given that Tim and I have zero history with this band, I'll be paying attention closely. Tim, take us on a journey. Help us understand, who is A7X and how did this song and the rest of their catalog come to be?
Well, Garrett, A7X, aka Avenged Sevenfold, started in 1999 in Huntington Beach, California. The name, of course, came from a story of Cain and Abel from Genesis 4:24, and I'm going to use this opportunity, since Garx rarely lets me read Bible verses directly on the show, in the King James Version, the "If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamach, 70 and sevenfold." Now, our audience is, of course, biblically literate, but for first-time listeners, this is, of course, a story in which Lamach, Cain's great-great-great-grandson, murdered a guy and then bragged about it, thumbing his nose at the law of the Lord and setting the stage for the flood, Garrett, the great deluge, ending the Antediluvian age of giants and great beasts. So I want to say, fuck Lamech, in this bullshit world devoid of monsters. I could be a monster hunter right now instead of talking about nonsense on a podcast like an asshole if those jackasses had just sinned just a little bit less and not angered the Lord so much.
Wow.
Our world...
You lost me at Antediluvian.
Our world is less for the absence of the Leviathan, which might be a dick joke in the Bible.
What in the world are you talking about? Leviathan, Antediluvian. I don't know these words. This is amazing. I had no idea this was a biblical reference. Also had no idea there were other stories about Cain in the Bible, or Abel.
Oh yeah, Cain. Well, Cain lived a long life, Garrett. He was marked by God, but then he went out in the world and did some stuff.
I thought Abel killed Cain. Is
No,
it Cain killed Abel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then his great-great-great-great-grandson bragged about that.
Oh, he bragged about when he killed a guy.
Oh. And so God was like, no more giants and fairies.
Well, he decided to kill everything, as God does does from time to time.
Was this the flood I've heard so much about?
It is, yes. The Great Deluge.
Is that? Now, you know what? We've spent too much time on this in general.
Anyway,
fascinating.
Garrett, this band was formed by Matthew Charles Sanders, who wants you to call him M. Shadows, but I will not. It was also formed...
No way!
Yeah,
Did you make that up? No. Hey, God, that's the worst self-given nickname.
M. Shadows. And here's the thing.
Shadows?
Here's the thing, Garrett. He could go with Matty Shaddy. That's a good name. Mm-hmm. But he chose to go with M. Shadows. Anyway, Matt Went, a.k.a. Other Matt, Zachary James Baker, a.k.a. Zachy Vengeance. He was from a band earlier called MPA, a.k.a. Mad Porn Action, and Jimmy Sullivan, a.k.a. The Rev, who was the writer of the Song of the Week. He was also the drummist, backing vocalist, and played drums and vocals in different bands. Anyway, these guys met in middle school in California, and the band, I think, was formed when they were in high school. They recorded a 3-track demo in 1999 and had songs on 2 compilations of Sadistic Records in 2000. They sent these tracks to a Belgian record label called Good Life Recordings, who signed them. Matt Went decided to leave for college, so they got Justin Meacham to join, and they renamed themselves. This is when M. Shadows took his name. Zachy Vengeance took his name. Justin Sane and The Rev were also dubbed at this time. They recorded their debut album, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, released in 2001, leading me to ask, Garrett, is this a Christian band?
Sorry, I've had it loaded in the gun for 30 seconds now. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, what?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird.
No is the answer. Also, I just want to say, those nicknames are not even good enough for, like, a game of bowling.
Oh, there's more coming. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
They got Sinister Gates to join the band. They released an EP. Then Justin Sane tried to kill himself by drinking cough syrup. He went semi-insane, ironically, and was institutionalized for a bit. He had to leave the band. In his place, they got Damian Ash, and they signed with Hopeless Records, re-released their debut album in 2002. They did the Vans Warped Tour, and then Damon Ash left, and Johnny Christ joined as their new bassist. I believe
John Christ, how's it going? What?
Oh, they released...
Is that a nickname?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh.
I think when all these other guys went with, like, Sinister, also that's SynYster, Shadows, Vengeance, Sane, I think he went with Christ.
You know, if you're going to come in late, you might as well come in hot. You know what? I'm just going to call myself Jesus.
Yep. Well, not Jesus. Christ. They released Walking the Fallen in 2003. They played several more Vans Warped Tours. They signed to Warner Brother Records also in 2003. They released City of Evil in 2005, an album that Matty Shaddy had to work with a vocal coach to avoid growling and screaming constantly on. This sound was more popular, and people seemed to appreciate the less awful nonsense that they were doing. And also randomly around this time, Matty Shaddy's sister, Amy Sanders, aka Amy Shadows, achieved her lifelong dream of playing in the WNBA.
Oh, what?
They did more Warped Tours. They did Ozfest. They did their own tours, and they released a self-titled album on October 30th, 2007, featuring the Song of the Week. And then in December 2007, they released an animated music video for the Song of the Week. More on those things later. In 2009, drummer and author of the Song of the Week, The Rev, aka James Owen Sullivan, aka Rathead, was found dead at home at 28. Police declared the death to be natural causes, but then of course the toxicology report came back positive for oxycodone, oxymorphone, diazepam, nordiazepam, and alcohol. His drum kits are on display at the Hard Rock Cafes in Las Vegas and Gatlinburg, Tennessee in his honor.
That's the most depressing part of that sentence. God.
The band released the album Nightmare in 2010, dedicated to Rev. They toured the Middle East with some USO shows, performed at European festivals. They did a lot of that Rock am Ring Germany thing. They did some headlining shows, had some songs featured in video games. They released the album Hail to the King in 2013, headlined Monster Energy's Welcome to Rockville Festival in Jacksonville, Florida. We talked about that for, I don't know, some reason, but yeah, that's come up on the show before, so it's probably not a badge of honor. And then, Garrett, in 2014, they put out the 10th anniversary edition of their 2003 album, Waking the Fallen. Don't know if you're doing the dates there, but that is not the correct year. They went through another drummer. This one just had creative differences. He didn't die. Then they were sued by Warner Brothers for trying to leave the label, so they released a statement saying, listen, we're only trying to leave the label in violation of the things that we signed because most of the suits that were originally working here when we originally signed don't work here anymore, which is not how business works. Now, I personally am unclear exactly on how business works, but I do know it is not like this. I don't think you pledge allegiance to like specific suits, right? You do business. No. Violent business.
I do business. And honestly, Tim, I want to congratulate you. Boy, real positive episode so far. You don't do business, but you have done an excellent job after not doing such an excellent job of stopping the signing of contracts. I really appreciate that. You have fully embraced don't sign anything, and it has saved us tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, don't sign any business contracts.
Sure. You can sign anything else you want. Wait, what are you signing?
It's not important. The point is that I love signing things, Garrett. I am my own notary in violation of US law.
heypodmail@gmail.com. Do you want a Timothy Richardson autographed anything? Let us know. He will sign it. Anything.
They toured as the support act for Metallica for a bit. They did Monster Energy festivals. They toured with Slipknot, Disturbed, and Korn. And then the wrestler Chris Jericho announced the new album, Voltaic Oceans, but then they later changed that name to The Stage, a concept album about artificial intelligence, making Chris Jericho look like an asshole.
Was he in the band at this point?
No. They just got him to announce it on his like Instagram or something. Garrett, I think we should listen to the Avenged Sevenfold album, The Stage, the concept album about artificial intelligence. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I think we should also listen to several Chris Jericho albums.
No. They recorded more music for Call of Duty video games, and they're currently working on an 8th studio album, Le Fez.
And a courteous but firm Shia LaBeouf to you.
Thank you.
Done, Tim. Well done. Nice and brief, just how I like it. Turns out there's not a whole lot about this band I need to know.
No.
Some of it was tragic. I might have laughed at the wrong moments. I apologize for that. But that brings us to the song itself, and before we can really talk about it, let's get a taste. So here it is, a little bit of A7X's A Little Piece of Heaven. Load it up, Gina.
Is it such a sin for me to take what's mine until the
Who was surprised by that?
I was so surprised.
Me too.
Garrett,
It's very hard to start.
it is. Because, okay, so musically, it kind of reminds me of that My Chemical Romance Spooktacular episode, except not nearly as good. But
Yeah, not nearly as good.
And I feel like we maybe owe that album an apology. We're probably unfair to it. We may need to re-listen to
Mildly.
it. But there's a lot of instruments being used that are atypical in this type of music. And, right, so there's bassoons.
It's show tunes.
It sounds like they listened to a Man record and were like, let's do that, but like the metalcore version of it, right? Parts of it are carnival sea shanty-esque. And
Oh, that's a good call.
I think this song would have been better served if they had stuck to the horns and the oboes and the string instruments. If they had just gone that way and made a weird tale of, whatever the fuck this is, dirtbaggery of the highest order. But like, I think it suffers when they try to mix that with the more traditional rock, not even rock, the like excessive bass drums. It does not work for it.
Yeah, I'm going to make some wild accusations here about the music. I might even use the word ska.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can say ska. I think.
What about
that
bespoke ska or elaborate ska? Very horn heavy. It gets so horn heavy.
But there's also like a bunch of woodwind instruments on here. I think like
that's the very first note I have. Why are there so many woodwinds and light choral chanting?
It's very weird, and it's
so weird.
It comes across as something that it's clear. And again, I don't know. They might have been doing this their whole career, but it comes off as this was a very new thing that they were trying, and maybe do more practice runs before this.
Well, this is the biggest question I have, and I think I know the answer, but I'll leave it to the listeners, and I know some of your viewers. Congratulations. Is this a one-off? Is this the exception, not the rule? What does a normal Avenged Sevenfold album sound like? I can't be bothered, so
there's
I don't know.
way to know.
Right. Absolutely not. But I'm curious. I'm sure our listeners might know. Let us in. Is this a one-off? Of the 25 people that recommended this song, is this representative of their work? Do they all sound like Oklahoma? It's like he was watching, I don't know. I don't watch musicals. Maybe, let's see. What was this? 07 or 13?
7.
What was it? 07. Let's see. What was around in 07? 7. I don't know, what with Rent? He was watching Rent? Sad play. Anyway, it's very hard to nail down the music. There's woodwinds, there's metal guitar, there's drums, there's more woodwinds, there's horns, and it changes. It's not consistent. We'll try to call out the changes as best we can, but that brings us to the vocals.
Yeah, so, okay, vocally...
Which also change a little.
Yes, well, so we should also say pretty much everyone in this band sings on this song, and they all sing in like wildly different styles very inappropriately. It's vocally, parts of it kind of remind me of those like System of a Down, those Armenian weirdos, and that Serge Tankian fella. It's a lot of like vocal affectation. It sounds carnival-y at times. There's shouting, there's distortion. It sounds cartoonish at times. Sometimes it's yelling. Sometimes it's doing like a pop punk thing. It's just odd overall. And I think, again, it would work, at least some of it.
They should have embraced it.
Yes, exactly. Same thing as they should have gone with the weird vocals. They should have gone with the weird instruments and just left it at that and stopped trying to like add in metalcore to it. Like they just need to pick a lane and stick to it.
Yeah, it's a weird combination. I love the song for it because it's just bonkers and nobody would ever do this on purpose. So congratulations, Avenged Sevenfold, you've amused me.
It does come off feeling a little bit like The Camel, like this was done in committee, where they just had, because I believe, again, it was written by the drummer. I think he did some of the like piano lines, he did the drums, he sang part of it, and I feel like then he was just like, okay, that's all I got, and then everyone else was just like, I think I've got a like a chorus or a bridge. Let me sing that. Here's some weird music I heard at a flea market the other day that I can't think of what else to do with.
Yeah, and no bad ideas, guys. Let's just make it. We'll just make it 8 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I also hear a little bit of falling in reverse on here, and that's not good.
No, it's not. Yeah, my big headline here is overall a Broadway style delivery, despite the rock inclinations, mostly because it's just telling a story through song.
Right. Yes, and we should say very generally of the message of the song. You remember all those prude bitches that were worried about the message and content of Rob Zombie's music and didn't pay attention to the fact that it's kind of adorable?
Wait till they get a load of me. Is what Avenged Sevenfold said.
Right. Yeah, this song actually kind of delivers on what everyone seems to have been worried about by then. It's gross.
It is gross. So let's get into it, Tim. It's going to be hard for me to not sing this, but I won't. Song begins. Before the story begins, is it such a sin for me to take what's mine until the end of time? We were more than friends before the story ends, and I will take what's mine, create what God would never design.
Now, of course, the thing that he's going to take is a human.
Yes.
The
human life.
Right. Or just a human. He wants to,
Well, first one, then the other.
Sure.
First the life.
Keep her
then the corpse.
Forever. And again, create what God would never design. We've got a little bit of a Frankenstein thing here happening.
Well, yeah, that's because you and I have the benefit of knowing where this is all going. At this point, it's merely an allusion to creating an abomination to God.
Sure, which, of course, listen.
At this point, I'm on board.
I disagree, Garrett, because God created such abominations of his own, Garrett. The Leviathan, the various sea beasts. My point is, it's gross content like this song contains that caused the deluge, that brought an end to the age of beasts, giants, monsters, if you will.
Sea beasts.
There were sea, there were land, there were air beasts. There were beasts everywhere, Garrett. It was a time of monsters, and it was fucking awesome. You've seen the fossils. That was very
we're talking
recently.
about dinosaurs.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them would be considered your dinosaurs, yes.
Interesting. Okay, I don't agree with anything you've said. It sounds insane. Just to be clear, science.
Right.
So that's the intro. Very ominous. Gonna create an abomination to God. Tim's pointing out, you know what? I thought you were gonna go much darker when you started referencing God's abominations, but I'm glad you didn't.
No, Garrett. I'm neither a racist nor a misogynist.
Oh wow! I didn't think you were gonna go that far. I thought you meant just like progeria and stuff.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, fuck off. Just go fuck straight off. Song continues, and this is where we get our first musical change. This is where I said it turns into elaborate ska because it's very horn heavy and the beat is ripe for skanking.
It does get because in the intro there's a lot of what you would consider the metalcore chord drums that just pounding and pounding on the bass drum with little relief. And once you get into the verse here, you're right. The beat gets a lot more relaxed. There's almost an island feel to the beat and only the beat.
An island feel.
Right.
I like it. Then the song continues. Our love had been so strong for far too long. I was weak with fear that something would go wrong. Before the possibilities came true, I took all possibilities from you. And I want to pause there. We're about to get to the big moment, but basically he had to lock this relationship down before she broke up with him, is what I'm hearing. He may not understand what that saying means and took it a little too far, but basically he was worried she was going to leave him, and so he had to take drastic action.
Yes.
And then we have another vocal delivery change. It becomes almost gremlin singing here.
Well, this is
almost,
at least in part due to the Rev doing backing vocals.
I see. So he says, almost laughed myself to tears. A bunch of laughter, conjuring her deepest fears. Come here, you fucking bitch. And then we switch musically. I'm going to keep reading, but we switch musically again dramatically to what I called a Danny Elfman score. Think your Edward Scissorhands, your Batman, etc. A lot of flute. I heard a flute, Tim. Must have stabbed her 50 fucking times. I can't believe it. Ripped her heart out right before her eyes. Eyes over easy. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Kills this lady by stabbing her, which is odd given what is going to happen later, but he rips out her still beating heart and then eats her eyes. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going.
Right, so let's just be careful. We have murder, we have cannibalism.
Yes, this woman has 50 stab wounds, at least, a very large chest wound from a missing heart, and eaten eyeballs.
Yes.
All right. At this point, you would think this guy really hates this lady, but there's a twist. She was never this good in bed, even when she was sleeping.
Okay, so hold on, because so now we have necrophilia, but we also have, he's banging her.
Well, he's banging a woman with no eyes, a large chest wound, and multiple stab wounds. That's not sexy.
No, but also apparently he's made love to her while she slept.
Yeah, I think that's rape.
It is.
He continues. Now she's just so perfect. I've never been quite so fucking deep in her. It goes on and on and on.
Gross, dude. Yeah.
Well, don't gross dude me. Gross dude 7X Avenged Fold or whatever you are.
A 7X fucked me.
That feels right.
It does. It feels like it makes it a little bit more tame.
Yes, it does. Because this guy's talking about, one, fucking a corpse and how much better it is than the last time he had sex with her while she was sleeping and unbeknownst to her. And then he's being very specific about how deep he is in her.
Yes.
Do you think that's because she's decomposing or because he's just, you know what, don't answer that.
Might be a chest wound thing. I don't know.
Oh, you made it worse. Song continues. I can keep you looking young and preserved forever with a fountain to spray on your youth whenever. Why I hate this album. Public service announcement. Semen will not preserve anything.
Oh dear.
Oh, Tim checks notes and runs out of the room. No. It might laminate something, maybe.
I
can't say I've ever seen semen on paper.
That's not true.
I can't say. I'm sure I have.
Oh yeah, you have.
Anyway, next up is the weird pop punk style change that we've all been waiting for and fully expected without being confused at all. He says, "'Cause I really always knew that my little crime would be cold. That's why I got a heater for your thighs."
Okay.
Cause I really always knew that my little crime would be cold.
Here's the problem. The heater thing implies like a great deal of forethought.
Yeah, that means it wasn't spur of the moment. He's been dying to have sex with her as a corpse.
Yes.
And I know, it's not your time, but bye-bye. And a word to the wise, when the fire dies, you think it's over, but it's just begun. Baby, don't cry. And I want to pause here, Tim, because I did a bit of research. First, what I just read, as you mentioned, premeditated. He's been well, that's interesting. He wants to have sex with the corpse, but he wants the corpse to be as lifelike as possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just doesn't like a cold wiener.
Well, no one does.
I don't know. It might be refreshing after a hot run.
It is never refreshing.
I don't know that that's true. Listeners, write in.
Listen, it's great to cool yourself off after a hard run. That's not the place to start.
I don't know that that's true. My dick's hotter than most of my body.
All right, I'm going to start icing your penis.
Gino, get the thermal gun.
I'm sorry, what?
The thermal gun.
I'm sorry,
point
what?
it to see what the temp.
Oh, I thought you had some sort of Mr. Freeze situation going on.
Oh, man, I got to stop leaving you alone. You are deteriorating quickly. Anyway, I did a little research, Tim, because this story sounded familiar to me. And it was. Have you ever heard of the story of a young man named Karl Tanzler, a.k.a. Count Karl von Kossel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He did this exact same thing in the 30s. Small difference. Waited 2 years, then retrieved the corpse from her mausoleum, which is not what I would recommend. Slapped a death mask on her because her family was cool with him making that the day after she died. Keep in mind, they were not in a relationship. He just liked her a bunch. Then he managed to keep her for 7 years by replacing her skin with silk-soaked wax. And of course, he did, in fact, bang her.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that was confirmed. I found a whole bunch of photos from old newspaper clippings. When they removed the corpse from the house, all of the children were let out of school early so that they could see it. It's a different time. If you thought that the 1930s were probably the last time that happened, allow me to point you to Thai Army medic officer Charn Janwachakal, 73 years old, who has lived, or I should say did live, for 21 years with the body of his late wife, who he could not bear to cremate after she died of illness in 2001. So he just put her corpse in a coffin in the living room for 21 years until finally in May of 2022, he decided to put her into a fire.
I feel like you are the one responsible for all the terrible internet searches this week. I did okay.
You know what? This might be your week, buddy. You're right. That's 3 compliments in a row. I am a little nervous now. What did you do?
Oh, nothing. I just refrained from Googling the horrible things you've been Googling.
Sure. No, I just mean you've racked up some real serious positive points here in the first 30 minutes of the pod, and that's unusual. So I'm just going to ask you loosely, broad question here. Feel free to be honest. Tim, what'd you do?
Nope.
Just ask one more time and just know.
I'm not. Nope.
Just
know. Nope.
Just know if I figure it out, it's going to be way worse. So last time, no consequences. Tim, what'd you do?
I'll take my chances.
Okay, buddy. That goodwill's going to sour quick, though. All right, song continues. You had my heart, at least for the most part, because everybody's got to die sometime. We fell apart. Let's make a new start, because everybody's got to die sometime. Yeah. But baby, don't cry. Weirdly melodic harmonizing and oddly sincere in that portion.
Yeah, for my money, the everybody's gotta die sometime does seem like a very sincere message, but it's also inappropriate for the rest of the song.
Well, sure, absolutely. I also don't fully understand the sentiment of, you know what, this is really starting to hit the rocks. Let's start over, only this time you're gonna be a stinky doll corpse.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, I'm not defending this. I'm just saying, everyone's gotta die sometime.
Fair. Then the ska horns return to the picture, and I'm into it. Before we get to the line, now possibilities I'd never considered are occurring the likes of which I'd never heard. Now an angry soul comes back from beyond the grave to repossess a body with which I misbehave.
That's gotta be jarring.
Yeah, and I'm curious, do you think you see the soul first, or do you think that dead corpse like turns its head mid-bone session and is like, are you having a good time? And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I were the corpse or the soul returning to the corpse, I guess I should say, I would definitely play it the second way. You'd want to go for surprise.
Yeah. Boy, I'm dead and this is still pretty bad.
I don't know if I'd go with a joke.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think
okay, this is a fun game, Tim. Let's pretend for a moment your significant other kills you, turns you into a lifeless sex doll, and then you return from the afterlife to, I don't know, haunt this person. What's the first words you're going to say when you enter your corpse body again and find this other person just banging away? Gross.
I don't know.
Done yet? I don't know. Everything I think of is a joke. I think I have to go
That's
joke.
True. You might have to.
When all else fails, just pure high-pitched squealing, top of your lungs.
The noise
That'll kill a boner lickety-split.
The noise from Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, basically. We're handing out jewels today, folks. All right, song continues. Smiling right from ear to ear, almost laughed herself to tears.
Let me ask you this, Garrett. How good of a Barry White impression can I do? In my returned, obviously, from heaven.
I don't know. Does heaven imbue you with some sort of like heaven powers? Because right now your Barry White's weak.
I assume, well, I mean, yeah, of course. Of course that would.
Then yeah.
And I mean, obviously I'd be going to heaven because I assume then whoever's got me in such a condition would leave the shoes on.
Oh, that's wishful thinking.
Are you going to kill and bang me?
Yeah. No, I definitely am not. Wow, I've never been so confident about something. Anyway, back to the song. Smiling right from ear to ear, almost laughed herself to tears. She must have stabbed stabbed him 50 fucking times. I can't believe it. Ripped his heart out right before his eyes. Eyes over easy. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Eat the shit out of it. These are actually lines in this song. So we get a nice reverse of the first lines in the song. It's basically a mirror of the previous verse, only this time she is attacking him for the horrible seed he has spread all over her dead body.
Well, sure, as one would.
Yes, absolutely. Fit of rage.
Yep.
Do not fuck my corpse. You know what?
That's just,
I don't think
a
I
blanket
care.
rule. Oh, that's true.
Here's the thing. Well, here's the line. If you killed me to have sex with my corpse, absolutely not. If I die and then you're like, hey, what are you going to do with that? Have at it. I don't care.
Okay, so let's say one waits for someone to die.
Your straw man is shit already. Continue.
Well, it's pretty much the end of it.
You're basically just saying like
this. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
So, necrophilia is of course illegal.
And
I think.
disgusting.
Right, it's gotta be. So I guess my point is, these people have to have some sort of outlets or they're going to go out and kill and bang people, right?
Sure, I'll take the journey.
So as a organ donor yourself, would it be okay with you if you were to pass away for me to donate you to necrophiliacs?
Yeah, as long as I didn't die for the express purpose to be gangbanged by a bunch of creeps.
Sure. You've died, and let's say it's, again, as your MMA representative, I have signed you over to this. You're okay with that?
Yes, absolutely. Let's say I choked on a pumpkin seed. Mm-hmm. So bodies in, like tomorrow,
Yes.
we're making jack-o'-lanterns. I choke on a roasted pumpkin seed, and you want to toss me to a bunch of suck and fuck jackals that want to just desecrate my corpse? Go nuts.
Okay.
They can't profit, though.
No,
Neither can
they
you.
don't want to. And I don't want to.
All right. Yeah, no, we'll put that in the living will.
All right.
Totally okay with that. Are you not?
No, God, no.
What am I not thinking about?
No. I want to be exploded.
Yes. Fill you from T to B with gunpowder and light a fuse.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Organs in or organs out?
Dealer's choice, man. Do not
Love
care.
it. Yeah, I think explosion or cannon is a really good way to go. Now I feel like I might be robbing people of entertainment. Well, no, I guess I'm letting a bunch of creeps. Hey, I don't know how frequent is necrophilia? You don't hear about it much.
Well, no, Garrett. They're a very insular community.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, song continues. Now that it's done, I realize the error of my ways. I must venture back to apologize from somewhere far beyond the grave. I gotta make up for what I've done, because I was all up in a piece of heaven. I was all up in a piece of heaven while you burned in hell, no peace forever. Lots of interesting things here. One, takes him being basically what's good for the goose, good for the gander. He realizes, oh, I shouldn't have brutally murdered my girlfriend. That was a shitty thing to do. Interestingly, he goes to heaven, she went to hell.
Well, no. He didn't.
That's right. He went to
heaven.
hell.
No.
Right. He was all up in a piece of heaven.
Right.
Which is, to be clear, her dead sexual organs.
Yes. Or possibly
Presumably.
chest wound.
Oh, I have mouth sweats. That's disgusting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't write this song, Garrett. I just interpreted it. Anywho, song continues. There is more chorus, and then it continues. We're coming back. We'll live forever. Let's have a wedding. Let's start the killing.
You skipped a part.
Did I? Oh, the bridge.
Yeah, you skipped the weird call and response bridge.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry. Yes, let's do that. So, song continues with the bridge. M. Night. Maddie Shaddy and somebody named Juliet Comagari sing. Do you want to do the Juliet or the Maddie Shaddy parts? Taking too long.
Juliet?
Perfect. That's what I was going to say. I will suffer.
What will you do?
For so long.
Not long enough.
To make it up to you.
I pray to God that you do.
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Well, then I'll grant you one chance.
And if it's not enough?
If it's not enough, it's not enough.
If it's not enough?
Not enough.
Try again.
Try again.
And again.
And again.
Over and over again.
Believe it or not, guys, that's about as irritating as it is in the song.
Absolutely. Verse number 4. We're coming back. We'll live forever. Let's have a wedding. Let's start the killing. So she has apparently forgiven him, and
shockingly,
they have gotten married in the afterlife, as I hope one day we we do, and they've come back to murder a bunch of people at their weddings.
Yeah, we actually get to hear the wedding itself.
Oh, sure.
But before we get there, I apologize, I'm jumping the gun. So yeah, they've come back to murder a bunch of people. Not really clear why. Seems like they should really just focus on each other, but whatever. Then after that, we get this like weird screaming, laughing, and dramatic horns, like all, of course, over some sort of weird chanting and an oboe.
Well, sure. Gotta have an oboe.
And then that all dramatically builds to the wedding. And we get a really bad Marilyn Manson impression. He says, "Do you take this man to death for the rest of your unnatural life?" "Yes, I do." "Do you take this woman to death for the rest of your unnatural life?" "I do. I now pronounce you." And then we go to the chorus again.
Yeah.
And I think it ends with like thunderstorm noises.
Yeah, pretty much.
So to recap, this was a not dissimilar Broadway-style song about a man who's worried his girlfriend's going to break up with him, so he stabs her a bunch, rips out her heart, eats her eyes, fucks her body. Then the ghost of her comes back, haunts him, kills him. They both are in hell, get married by Marilyn Manson, and come back and kill everybody.
Yes.
I like this song. Nah, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But it is like way better than a lot of these.
Yeah, and we also have a video.
Oh, the video. Tim, let me start with this. 97 million views.
Absolutely. I bet that's a lot of people that have watched it a lot of times.
Yeah, it's probably 33 million people watching it 3 times.
I bet people, it doesn't matter. We start off with a totally legit content warning. And then we start off with some sort of spooky skeleton band playing instruments.
Confirming the woodwinds that we suspected when we were hearing the song.
Yes. And I mean, I kind of like, I enjoyed the animation style. Some of it's
very
not
good.
Really animated. It's a lot of it's like static figures on a background. Like it was still images animated in After Effects. Some of it looks like kind of cheap Scooby-Doo style animation, but I think it kind of works for the most part.
Yeah, and they pretty much just tell the story of the song. There were a couple of things that I thought were particularly funny. As you said, the animation style's really cool.
Yeah, they did a good job with it.
But what's interesting is that it's delivered as like it's being told from a storybook. And in this version, you actually get to see that he proposed to her, she laughed in his face, and so he killed her.
Right. So,
which makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, not a lot of sense, to be clear. If somebody proposes to you and they say no, you don't get to kill him.
Well, sure,
obviously.
But there was seemingly no impetus for it at all in the song itself.
Aside from wanting to have sex with a dead person.
Sure, right, so none.
And then this part I found gross. They animated him banging a corpse.
They did. There's some implied banging. There's some thrusting.
And some heads hitting the headboard.
Yes, there's some non-implied cannibalism.
Yeah, he does eat her heart for some reason.
Yes, there's some dancing with a corpse, like some sort of Tom Petty character.
Yes.
And then, so, I mean, again, then it's basically just the story. Did you notice when she kills him, she then seems to be banging him? It's shown in shadows only.
Yeah.
But, like, there's some sort of zombie penis?
Yeah, and at that point, I'm more okay with it, because they're both dead.
Well, sure. But it's...
Ooh, could you get charged with necrophilia? Because you technically having sex with a corpse.
I'm sorry?
Well, obviously, you'd have to be a zombie.
I don't think they're worried about zombie law.
Somebody's got to be.
I assume there's zombie corpses.
I guess it's me. No, it's just me. I'll take care of it, I guess. You're welcome, America. Anyway, it all
zombie
makes a lot more sense.
There's a show.
I like it. They also show in here that the reason they come back and kill everybody is so that they can have a wedding party, attend their wedding.
Yes.
Honestly, this video really answers a lot of questions I had about the song.
Yes. Do they also do a Lady in the Tramp with somebody's eyeball and optic nerve?
Yes.
Gross.
Pretty much. And then it ends in a photo booth.
Yeah.
I implore people, we probably should have done this at the start. There's a lot of things we usually mean to do at the start. Definitely watch this video. It's long, but it really paints a picture.
Yes. Also After Dark.
Oh, so After Dark. Tim, how'd this thing do?
Unclear. This was not a single. There are no numbers available for it. The album itself hit number 4 on the Billboard 200 and sold at least 1 million copies in the US alone. So these guys are probably doing all right.
Yeah. Plus all that money from Blizzard and all the other game studios.
Yeah.
What do people think of it?
Well, there are 53 total ratings, 4.9 out of 5 stars on average, 87% 5-star, 13% 4-star, and if you're doing the math, 0% 1 through 3 stars. None of them are really interesting. dying, so I went to YouTube.
No shit.
2 years ago, the Revivist said, for anyone who doesn't understand the lore/story, I'll summarize it for you. The reason why she rejected his proposal is because she knows that life is temporary. She wants to live it to the fullest before she dies. The reason she accepted when both of them were dead is because death is eternal. Now, why the guy fucked her corpse, decapitated her, and ate her heart is beyond me.
I like this guy. The rest of that shit's fucking weird, but some of this makes some sense.
This is Yasmin Muniz 3 months ago. I don't understand what this one means. You'll have to help me out. Assassinato, terror, necrophilia, marcao, mulatto, minha, adolescencia, essa musica.
I think they're angry about children's music being about banging corpses.
Oh, I kind of agree.
I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know that it's Spanish. Umag Jaha 1 month ago said, I am a forensics expert. Can't help it, but I really listen to this song before every autopsy, just because I love the music and the song. I love it. Every single part of it. And then crying laughing face. Not the necrophilia part, don't get me wrong. We have cameras, and I'm into alive people. Crying laughing face, tongue out face, 100.
That guy fucks dead people.
He's just sending out some feelers to see if other people are okay with knowing.
I'm just joshing. Or am I?
Yes. Kugrox 1 month ago. Me and my girlfriend didn't agree on a ton of music, but she made me a fan of Avenged Sevenfold, and this was sort of our favorite song together. I considered this our song. Not that our story has anything to do with this song. Really didn't. But then she died. Cardiac arrest. Perfectly healthy 33-year-old. Just happened. Well, now every time I hear this song, it reminds me of her death. Doesn't help that the entire song is about a dead girlfriend. LOL. But at the...
Worst, and the award for worst use of LOL ever goes to this guy. Oh my god.
He continues.
LOL.
But at the same time, I know she would be fine with...
I'm sorry. That's just the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh.
It was, Garrett, I wrote this review down and I just highlighted LOL to make sure that I did in fact get to it and didn't lose my nerve with the dead girlfriend.
It's so inappropriate.
It continues, but at the same time, I know she would be fine with dying. She didn't fear it, and she was, like me, the time to say, everyone has to die sometime. So this song gives me mixed feelings. Been 2 years, I still want to cry when I hear this song. Only thing that keeps me together is knowing she wasn't afraid of death, and I'm sure she accepted her death. In fact, when she got up there, I'm sure she said, well damn, that sure didn't go as planned. Oh well, and moved on.
I don't want to be gross. You did the heavy lifting here, Tim. What do you think the odds are this guy had sex with her body? Low.
Probably
right?
low.
Okay.
But not
Low.
none.
Not none. That other guy, 100%.
Yes, he even wrote 100 on the end of his review.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Good stuff. Great reviews, Tim. Any others?
No.
Perfect. Who's this for?
I think this is for people that are like really into those Twilight films or books, or it's for people that like love stories involving dead people.
Yeah.
People that
don't know
want to move from these sexy vampires and sexy werewolves into sexy... It's for Tina Belcher.
Yeah. You know what? It's for Tina Belcher. I
Gross.
wasn't going to co-sign that till you really... I mean, I've seen depictions of her zombie fantasies, so yeah.
She's into it.
Good stuff. That brings us to final thoughts, Tim. We've been all the way through it, discussed the disgusting content of the song. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanna get into?
No. Don't bang corpses.
Don't bang corpses. Great final note. I won't even ask the question I was going to. Let's go out on a high note. Don't bang corpses. Tim, do you hate this song?
I don't. It's fine. It's vaguely fun. I'm not super into it. I think that they're not the best at making this song. I get the appeal. It's fine. It's Halloween-y, and I think it was made specifically for this show. What about you, friend? Do you hate this song?
Oh, heck no.
What a PG answer.
Yeah. Somebody has to balance this piece of shit out. Yeah. No, it's kind of a bummer. It could be better. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But it could be better.
It reminded me in a way of that Willard Smith Halloween song where it's just, it's fine.
Oh, A Nightmare on My Street?
Yeah, but like you could have done better.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you all around. I think it comes back to the very first thing you said. They should not have tried to merge. Just stick with the total left-hand turn. Keep it just the fancy instruments.
Yeah, put it on as the last song on your album, and it'll be like Her Majesty at the end of Abbey Road.
It won't, but I understand what you mean. Good stuff, Timmy. That brings us to listener mail. Would you like to go first or would you like me to?
Oh, of course, I want to go first.
Fair enough.
And I don't have any mail, Garrett. I have an iTunes review from
That's not mail.
Boethius of Sidon called Prepare for a Great Conflagration. It is a 5-star review.
Oh, we appreciate those. If you're inspired, folks, please feel free to go out the old Apple Podcast app and throw the 5 stars up there. Continue, Tim.
Today I was introduced to Save Yourself, written by the late Gareth Barvey and released posthumously in 2022. This is an enchanting song. I plan to listen to it perpetually in preparation for the coming ekpyrosis, as next year it is to be a great year. Great year is, of course, capitalized. As I am engulfed in the cleansing fires of the cosmos, my ears will be soothed by stabbing westward. Through palingenesis, this song will provide comfort until I am returned to my rightful seat. This guy
That
gets
guy's
it.
paying attention. Yeah.
Accurate.
Wow. Should not have been both of our reactions.
That guy, I'm assuming, Boethus, I'm assuming you're a Tim fan.
Maybe.
Anyway, Garrett,
God.
what mail do you have?
I'll do 2, Tim, because they're both really short, and one of them is a little untraditional, but needs to be addressed. The first one's from Mike. Mike writes, "Hey guys, newer listener here. I'm curious as to how I can be a viewer of the podcast. I listen every day. I always hear you guys mention that some of you might be currently viewing. Awesome podcast, guys. Love it. Thanks. Thanks, Mike. That's kind of up to you.
Yeah, only the true of heart can find it. It's really the journey, not the destination.
You'll actually be pretty disappointed when you find the feed. Find the feed. It's really about finding it and meeting people along the way, joining the community, and becoming a contributor yourself. You're off to a great start, Mike.
There was a guy, one of our listeners, that actually did almost an entire Man on Fire to get the feed.
Yeah. And he was way off.
Yeah, the fun thing is he never got it.
The feed is not in Mexico City.
No. And about 7 fewer Mexicans are in Mexico City now.
Yeah, and they won't find the feed either. So, Mike, hey, feel free to write in with additional questions. We're here to help. We are your Sherpas, but, join the subreddits, check out the Instagrams, the Twitters. The truth is out there. Find the feed. My second email, Tim, is from Donald, and Donald writes, "I'm waiting for you guys to roast Blurryface. After that, maybe you guys could do the sickness. Also, job quitting update. Haven't yet. But the 10-gallon hat is here, and the chaps are in the mail. I ordered them with slow delivery so the mushrooms would have time to ferment." I don't know what most of that sentence means, but Donald, we did do Blurryface.
No, we didn't. We did a different one by them, and we...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
we should totally do Blurryface.
This is just going to help that Dashari June 95 guy, Finn.
He's like our number one listener.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We should probably do Blurryface. Anyway, the point is, the rest of that, this was the guy that wrote in asking how he should quit his job, and I gave him a serious bunch of advice.
Yeah, I think we both did.
Well, he was asking more for me. He's again, more of a Tim fan. A lot of Tim fans this week.
Fucking hate you. That brings us to music news of the weird, Tim. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
I want you to go first, Garrett.
Really?
No,
Okay.
no, I'll do it. Let me go first.
I deeply regret asking, really.
Garrett, in genuinely terrifying music video news this week, somebody decided it would be fun to create a music video with images created exclusively by AI for each line of a song. There's actually quite a few of these now, at least of these AI creation devices. You favor something called Crayon, I believe. This was
just finally got into DALL-E, so.
Oh yeah, you have
They
to
opened it
apply
up.
for that, I believe.
They just opened it to everybody.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. This was done by something called Midjourney AI, and this could be a very fun idea. However, the song that I saw was Black Hole Sun, and computers seem to think that this is filled with nothing but nightmare imagery, which it's all very cool, but Garrett, I am as afraid of black holes today as I was the first time I ever heard of them and was convinced I was going to come into contact with several in my lifetime. Each time Black Hole Sun is mentioned in the song, it's this different depiction, Garrett. Garrett, a Black Hole Sun is terrifying. There are worlds in there, and you will never escape. There's also...
Listen, your odds of being consumed by a black hole in your lifetime, you specifically, Timothy Richardson, 90%.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Is this because of the physics lab?
Yeah, you're going to be screaming. No, actually not. It has nothing to do with that. You're going to be baking a cake.
Interesting. Huh.
You'll be on a spaceship, though.
Oh.
Space cake.
Cool. There are terrifying ghost ghost creatures. There's Slender Men. The whole thing is very upsetting. In this spookiest of seasons, like, honestly, I would urge everyone to go watch this. It's very terrifying. It's just a series of paintings done by computers that pretty much explain, well, I don't know if explain, they pretty much visually show every lyric of Black Hole Sun, and it upsets me.
Sound like Stefan. It's got everything you need. Black Hole Sun, Slender Man.
Oh, that show is as good today as it ever was. Garrett, what other news do you have for us?
Well, Timberly, friend of the show, actually mortal enemy of the show, Garth Brooks, recently sold out 3 shows near Branson, Missouri. Unfortunately, the first of those shows did not go quite as planned. It turns out the venue was brand spanking new, and the only way to get to this venue was a 2-lane highway connecting Civilization to the 25,000 people that wanted to attend. Unfortunately, there were literally hundreds of reports of people sitting in standstill traffic between 3 and 6 hours to get to the venue parking lots. Now, if you were lucky enough to get to that parking lot, which you did pay $65 to park in, then there was a serious lack of shuttles to get from there to the actual venue, which of course left several very unhealthy people to walk down a dirt road and up a hill to attend a Garth Brooks show. The venue remained partially full as an alleged 1,000 or so people never actually made it to the show before it ended and had to turn around and sit in another 3 to 6 hours of traffic to return home. Good work, Garth.
Yeah, good work, Garth.
Here's the crazy part. Aside from like general logistics and people being able to just, common sense that one out, multiple reports after people were like, this is fucking bullshit. How in the world did they do this? Like half of them end with Garth deserves better. What? If we were to have a live show and 1,000 of 25,000 people just couldn't make it, you and I personally would be writing them checks. Here is your money back.
Yeah.
And Garth Brooks, just no comment.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. He's right not to.
It's official. We're on Facebook.
It's official. I'm keeping the money.
Cool stuff, slick stuff, keeping the money stuff. If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch Garth Brooks Joins Facebook and then give yourself a firm hard slap in the face for only having seen that just now. That's my first story, Timbo. What else do you have for music news of the weird?
Well, Garrett in Beck definitely deserves better news. There was recently a clue in Jeopardy, or on Jeopardy, if you will, in the category One Name Rock Stars. It had a photo of Beck, and the clue was his surprise was evident when he won Grammy's Album of the Year in 2015, to which one person guessed, who is Ed Sheeran, and then no one else had any guesses at all. And then Ken Jennings referred to Beck as quote-unquote Ed Sheeran-like, which he is not. Also, to be clear, Ed Sheeran has 2 names. They are Ed and Sheeran. But I have to say, stop implying Beck didn't deserve to win a Grammy that year. His album was as good as anyone else's, and the Grammys are nonsense. Also, Ken Jennings, don't be bitchy. He's not Ed Sheeran-like. He is a human being. He's squirrely, but that's an animal. He's not, well, how did you describe Ed Sheeran?
Oh, I don't know if I should describe Ed Sheeran.
Oh,
he's reached out.
When put on the spot, Garrett has no descriptors. There was some sort of talk of a sack of wet lunch meat ham, something that.
Stop trying to goad me into this. I'm not going to be mean to him this episode.
Pimento.
He has a new album coming soon, and we are going to unleash on him, but I'm not going to do it here.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to sit here and call him a stack of loose lunch meat, roughly resembling a flesh-colored Muppet. I'm not going to do that.
Thank you.
Carry
on, Garrett. News. You go.
Don't love that segue. In Bono Has a Book news, Bono has a book. He's going to...
Next story.
Now, of course, nobody wants to go hear Bono read from his book, so the rock star has made the announcement that to promote his upcoming memoir, Surrender, 40 songs, 1 story, on an intimate tour this November. He will be, of course, singing a little bit too. But to put it in Bono's words, he said, quote, "In these shows, I've got some stories to sing and some songs to tell."
Gross.
Fuck you, Bono. He then went on to say, quote, "Plus, I want to have some fun presenting my memoir," big capitalized M M-E in this, surrender, which is really more of a we more if I think about all the people who have helped to get me from here to there.
Now, I don't
Selfless
think
as always.
legally I can say that man deserves to die.
Oh my God, you can't go that far.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I can legally say that.
I don't think you legally should say that.
What?
Nothing, go ahead.
Anyway, the point is, maybe, I don't want anyone to injure Bono. I don't want anyone to hurt
don't do
Bono.
that.
Don't go out and hurt Bono. Do not hurt Bono. The point is,
I'm uncomfortable.
if he got hurt by accident, not that bad. Not that bad of a thing to have happened to the world, is my point.
Wow, I'm not going to co-sign that. But I will ask our listeners, heypodmail@gmail.com, has Bono actually done good for the world? I'm legitimately asking.
But okay, here's the thing. If he has done good, you have to be able to also show your work that it is that it has been good enough to counteract the bad.
Yeah, should he be that smug and self-satisfied? Prove it and show your work.
Yes.
Tim, news, go.
I love this. This is perfect.
Ugh, I don't like it.
From Smitty News this week, DJ Khaled recently did a remix called Use This Gospel Remix, which I believe is a remix of a K-Way song from a 2019 album. But either way, it featured K-Way as well as Eminem, Why I Hate This album's own Bruce. And Garrett, as a result of this, Bruce currently has the #1 song on the Billboard Hot Christian Songs chart, which I think is unexpected. While we are on the subject, what a terrible name for a Billboard chart, right? The Billboard Hot Christian Songs chart. Like, all I can think of is Catholic priests making love to other Catholic priests while shitty white guy gospel music plays. The Billboard Hot Christian charts after dark.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Fucked priest.
I'm not sure I would have pictured that, but I can promise you it's all I can picture now.
Yes. Also, it's a good time to remind everyone that in 2019, K-Way had the entire top 10 on the Hot Christian charts because nobody listens to Christian music.
I'm just picturing Eminem doing a Bible rap is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we should probably listen to it.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Fair enough, Garrett. What other news hast thou for us today?
Boy, I've really been dancing around it, especially because this is going to be very stale news by the time it actually comes out. But should we discuss this Kanye loves attention business?
Sure.
All right. In Kanye loves nonstop attention news, after wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt at Paris Fashion Week and hanging out with everybody's favorite Candace Owens in a matching t-shirt, Ye decided to post something on Instagram to speak out against all of the negative attention he received for wearing that shirt. He wrote on Instagram, quote, in all capital letters, "Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome." End quote.
Wait, did he
wrote that.
Okay.
After wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter. Okay. I mean, quite frankly, at this point, he might as well just be like singing Avenged Sevenfold, A Little Piece of Heaven. Like, please look at me. I need attention. What's the most inflammatory thing I can do and say? Great. I got to tell you, Tim, I really, really dislike Kanye West.
Yeah, guy sucks.
Cool. What other news do you have?
In Ozzy Osbourne news, the Ozman, Oswald Cobblepot Osbourne, he has joined the ranks of every other pop punk, emo, etc. musician we have ever discussed on this show in possibly the most important measure there is. Garrett, Oswald has a line of beauty products.
Wait, I thought you were going to say like sold his catalog.
Oh, no. Garrett, he is teaming up with something called Rock and Roll Beauty, which is odd because that shouldn't relate to male rock stars. They are the ugliest individuals in the entertainment industry, possibly on Earth. But
That's why they need makeup.
this is a 21-piece set, including eyeshadow palettes, some of which are shaped like coffins and bats. There's candles, there's lipstick, there's a gothic mirror, there's something called nail stickers. I've never heard of nail stickers before, but it kind of sounds like it's something for middle schoolers to buy at Hot Topic and wear on Halloween. But, I mean,
Ozzy Osbourne.
everyone in the ads was an adult, and I don't think any middle schoolers have heard of Ozzy Osbourne at this point.
Yeah, at this point, like, there's no middle school kids being like, I'm super into septuagenarian British prog rock.
Which is a shame, but yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to, it's actually really hard to describe Black Sabbath because it is definitely like stoner rock, some prog rock.
It's Queens of the Stone Age, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. It's not, but
It's old guy
Yes.
Queens of the Stone Age. It's
there it is.
fine.
Nailed it.
Do you have any additional music news of the weird for us today, Garrett?
Yeah, worst segue to date. Anyway, couple very quick hits before we go, Tim. In Your Birthday Was Ruined and You Didn't Even Know It news, and this is not a joke, Rage Against the Machine has officially canceled their 2023 tour, which is incredibly irritating because I was definitely getting us tickets for your birthday.
Aww.
But Zedler has reportedly torn his Achilles 3 months ago while on the second tour date of the 2022 shows, and claims he was left with only 8% of the tendon left intact, which I'm not sure exactly what that means, but basically he has said that the entire 2023 tour schedule will have to be scrapped due to his hobbling.
How much of Rage Against the Machine music requires him to have a working ankle?
All of it.
Apparently.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do... That's all ankle, Tim.
Yeah, that's
all
fair.
ankle.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then finally, Tim, this is not music news of the weird, but a shout out to a lady that Tim and I think the world of. Miss Loretta Lynn passed away just this week at the age of 90. She was a hell of a musician, and she will be missed.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, buddy. That brings us to my favorite part of the episode. Not just because it's the end, but because we get to announce what album we are going to be talking about next week. And boy, do we have a treat for you folks. Unofficially, because we haven't actually spoken with the other podcast, but it is that time of year where we like to do a holiday crossover. That's right. What is it? Texas Podcast Massacre? Our good buddies over there. They pick a movie, we pick a soundtrack, we both talk about it, and then we swap. This year, Tim, the movie is tentatively, this could change, but I think it won't. The movie is Spawn.
Actually, we might win this year. This soundtrack might be better than the movie.
Movie was a bit of a letdown. I assume you've seen it.
I have, but I'm going to rewatch it, of course.
Well, yeah, you got to get your notes ready.
Yeah.
It's a fairly long soundtrack, and I do want to encourage us not to get too deep into that because I very much enjoy the one day of a year where we get to talk about the movie. So I'm going to try to balance my notes a little more this year.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do full histories for each band.
We will not read them.
Right, but I'm going to do them.
But feel free
so
to do it.
No.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's smart. Good use of time. Okay, unless that changes, folks, that's going to be what comes out after this episode. And I think that's going to do it for us. As always, if you can, reach out, hatepodmail@gmail.com or hatepod.com and click on contact us in the upper left-hand corner. And we want to hear from you. Did you enjoy the show? What would you like us to change? Do you have weird stories about this music, these bands? Do you want to know what shoe size Gino has? I don't know. Write in. We'll tell you all sorts of stuff. You can also write in, reach out to us on Instagram. That's HatePod. Find us on Twitter. That's Album HatePod. And maybe you hate Tim and you just want to talk to Garrett. That's G Harvey Tweets on Twitter. And hey, reach out. We'll have a conversation. You can also join our subreddits. You could join our Discord server. There's a link in the Twitter feed. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll toss it to you. And as always, if you can, I think we've mentioned it at least twice, but let's throw it out there one more time. If you can rate, review, subscribe, follow, love, like, listen, and learn any which platform you use, ideally Apple Podcasts, but if you don't, whatever platform you're on, if you can somehow signify you enjoy this show, we want to hear from you, and we ask you to do it. And we really appreciate it. That's all we ask for now. We don't ask for money, though that might be coming soon. We do have a new marketing intern joining, and he is legitimate, has a resume, and everything. Not like this group of yahoos. Okay, Timmy, I think that does it for Why I Hate This Album. I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and on April 6th, 2018, Garrett Shadows Harvey said, almost all bees are born with malice in their hearts.
Yeah, stick by that. I kind of like the nickname. Shadow.
No.
I like it plural. I don't know if you said it plural, but I've never had a plural nickname.
No.
Shadows.
No, we're not doing this.
You guys got to just hear Tim's actual temperament. That's what you get for sticking around. Shazbot.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.